But oh, look at this. I wanted to show you. It finally came in, right? So this is the basketball jersey, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they they screwed up the number because I put the order in twice. So I picked the first because I thought I made a mistake. So the first number I picked was 19 because that was my grandmother's birthday. I thought I made a mistake. I did it over again and I put 4 as my father's birthday, but then I canceled one and that's it. But on the back, you put your name and the number and you
Right.
and you can pick whatever color you want. It's like they're pretty cool, I gotta say.
Yeah, it came out good.
Yeah, it did. It's like a legit basketball jersey, you know, and it's not bad.
It'll look good when on my basketball league on the weekends when I play.
Do you really play basketball?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say, uh, yeah. So I
Oh,
figured,
it's good, right?
yeah, no, it really came out nice. It really did. I mean, it's like a legit basketball jersey, the old school ones. It's not the,
Right.
but you could pick whatever you want. If you want the old school one, you want the new one, you could pick whatever design. I mean, these things come in camo, pink, pinstripe, all different colors.
Right.
You put the name on your back. They're made to order. So if anybody wants one, you could just email me, Uncle John 1201 at Gmail, John underscore Olivia at Yahoo, or hit me up on Instagram. And unfortunately, these are a little pricey, because they're made to order and they're custom and they're actually really good material. And it's $100 each. If everybody knows out there, if you just want a t-shirt, I'll send you a t-shirt. The t-shirts are free. But if you want one of these, unfortunately, they're pricey. And I also got sleeveless hooded serious and silliness shirts, light material. It's that what is that material called when you don't sweat?
Oh, the dry fit.
Dry fit, and that's $50. So if anybody wants any, I'll be putting it on my Instagram and showing everybody. And oh shit, it's Lee Priest.
I was just thinking, why am I sitting in a parked car with a seatbelt on? It's always about safety.
Are you
What do you?
wearing a condom too?
Yeah.
I should. It's raining outside. I might have to put a rain jacket on as well.
Yo, Lee, what do you think? Check it out. This is the basketball jersey, bro.
What's it say there?
Serious and
Serious
silly.
and silly. Yeah.
19 was my grandmother's birthday. Got my little logo, my last name, and the numbers on the back.
Wow.
I'm
What's
sure
it
I
say?
could.
What's it say on the back? Douche.
Yeah, it says shithead. It says it says shit for brains. Nobody uses that term anymore. Shit for brains.
Shit for or get stuffed. Go get stuffed.
I think that's an Australian thing.
Is
Speaking
it?
of speaking of an Australian thing, did you hear about this woman in Australia that poisoned her entire
Which one?
family?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The one of the mushrooms.
Yeah, she made a beef Wellington, and it was either poison mushrooms or she spiked the mushrooms with poison.
No, no, they were. I forget what they call them. Death heads or something. Death head
and
mushrooms or
and
something.
she poisoned her in-laws
One,
and
yeah.
and
One
her
of them survived, I think. One
and
of them
oh really?
survived.
Her in-laws and her husband. You can't get away with shit anymore. Like Jesus. How
But
do you
she,
get?
she,
How do you,
she's very special. Did you see her? She's not all there. So I'm
you
thinking,
think Jesus?
no,
But
but I
like,
mean, like it's
look at
like
the
a Down
time it takes
syndrome
to.
type.
Oh really? Look at the time it takes to make beef Wellington.
She put love into it. She put time
Yeah.
and love into
So if
it.
I was a cop, I would be like, it takes all day to make a good with beef
What
Wellington.
was her What
I
was her
know.
reason? Did that ever come out?
I don't know.
No, she said she made up some excuse. I heard on the news today because the trial's just started now. It's like, I think she made up some excuse she was sick or something, or she couldn't do something. So she invited them all over for dinner to help her. And then I don't know what the reasoning was, that why she wanted to kill them, or whether she was in the will and there's money involved. That's generally the main thing. There's some money involved somewhere. So I watched this one yesterday. My wife watches this show in the morning called Snapped. You know, it's about murders and that, and women that have snapped, of
You
course.
know how many shows we have that over here? Jesus, the
Oh, yeah.
first.
Well, this is an American one. This is American. She watches. I'm thinking, is she getting ideas? But this one woman on there, she went the whole hog. I mean, she was really pretty, looked like one of those fitness models, married this guy, and she wanted him gone. So the police found out she was planning it. So they did this sting where they got the fake hitman. They went and told the husband, listen, she's planning to kill you.
Yeah.
So they went and dug the hole, made it look like the hitman had killed him. And she's sitting in the car, and the hitman comes back and is like, okay, the job's done.
Yeah.
We're going to lay low for a while. And she's sitting there smiling. Okay, how did he take it? Well, he's dead. And she's smiling, thinking, you fucking cold as heart woman. I mean,
that's an old one. That happened like 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, I think I've seen it before too, yeah.
And then
the
they got him
just so cold.
Then they got this girl in the police station and
Fake crying, right?
what?
Fake crying, like she was shocked he's dead. Do you see that
Yeah,
one?
I think so. Yeah, she's got him in the police. They got him in the police station, and the cop who poses as the hitman walks in, and then the husband walks in, and the best part of it was they show him the video, they show him, what she said and all the whole thing. The best part was the phone call afterwards because she gets one phone call, of course, and she calls her husband, begging her husband to come get her out of jail. And then she says to him, I know what you saw. I saw the same thing, but it's not what you think. And if you hear his tone, he almost believes her. Like he wants to really believe her. And I'm like, my God, like Jesus.
It's not what I think. It's what I see. I've seen you planning this with a hitman for 2 months.
Yeah.
He tells you I'm dead. It's carried out, and you're asking him all these questions about how did I take it? And
and do you know how she found out that she wanted to kill her husband? She was screwing around with another guy. And they had pillow talk, and she would tell him that, I want to kill my husband and so on and so forth. And the guy was like, whoa, like, I don't want to be involved with this.
I'm getting out.
Yeah, I have nothing to do with this. So he immediately wants to remove himself as a suspect. So he goes to the police and goes, listen, I'm just having sex with this lady. And she's saying that she wants to hire a hitman to kill this dude. So, I mean, everything you could do wrong, this girl did wrong. It was unbelievable, But
even knowing it, once the police told him too, I remember he was still living in the house. Like he lived upstairs, she lived downstairs. Knowing that she's planning on killing you, wouldn't you be still sleeping with a chair against the door, thinking just in case she comes to do it herself?
Here's the thing though. Like there has to be red flags. Like this person can't come from a grounded, traditional background, family, and it gets married and has children and is raised to be a good mom and a good citizen, and and then all of a sudden she decides, I think I'm going to kill my husband. It doesn't fucking work that way.
It's got to be in the genes or upbringing. That's why I said my wife watches all these shows. And sadly, as you know, when I met my wife, sadly, her mum and dad had separated. And in the middle of the night, he'd had a few drinks and claimed insanity. My wife's father come down and shot her mother and murdered her. So
yeah, so you completely ignored the red flags. So you're that guy.
So when the first night I met her, like I said, and she pulled the knife out and said, "Can you cut me? I want you to stab me." Was that a red flag?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think that is the second.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Is that true?
Yes. So we've been talking for like a month or so. I never met her.
Not the knife part. The father killed the mother?
Yeah, sadly it was, yeah. He had to go to court a few. He ended up getting 36 years of that, and he's pleading, mental, which you'd have to be mental to kill someone, yeah. But sadly her sister was there when it happened and held the mother when he shot her for the last time. So her sister got really messed up for a while there and stuff because she was there when it happened. And it's hard too because my wife still goes through stages where, because she showed me photos, they used to go everywhere as a family, overseas, Amsterdam. Her mum and dad were like that, like it's swear like madly in love. And that's where she gets conflicted because she's like, this is my father that's raised me. I saw the love they had, but now he's also the man that destroyed the family, killed her mother.
Was he fucking crazy? Or what was his reason?
He just said drinking.
He
that
probably
mental,
found
you know,
out.
they
He
try
probably
that
found out
mental.
at least mother-in-law was, screwing around. And, I mean, come on, let's call it.
No, they just separated, I think, and she was going to sell the house, and he was living up on this property they had out the country way, and he just came down at 2 a.m. one morning, and
And there was a
that
Bo
was it.
Lewis kind of guy that was hanging around,
So yeah,
Wow.
so there could have been red flags when I got with her.
Yeah. So if you end up dead,
how old was she when it happened?
This was back in. We've been together 6 years now, so 6 years ago, roughly.
She was older when it happened. It was when
Yeah,
it was.
yeah. She would have been. Yeah, she's 40,
wow,
43 now. So yeah, just in her late 30s.
that is crazy, man. Wow.
Oh.
Oh my god! All right. I don't know where everybody else is, but let's get on to some bodybuilding because we got some news here.
What? We got news?
We got actually some news. Yeah, believe it
What
or
do we
not.
got?
I'm just looking at that jersey, thinking how good it looks.
It looks good, right? I'm telling
And I'm
you.
just thinking how much better would it look if a guy had shoulders and arms in it?
Yeah, exactly. Look on the back.
Shoulders and arms not included in the T-shirt.
Yeah. Do you put that shoulders and arms sold separate?
Yeah, like imagine if Nick Walker wore it. I mean, he would really.
John got the TMU version and didn't get the arms with it.
Oh man, would you pay $100? Because that's what it's going for. Unfortunately,
I would pay 200.
I would.
You would.
I would, but I don't like sleeveless shit. I don't like showing my arms.
Me neither.
Well, we can get you a baseball jersey or a football jersey. Football America.
I would do a football. What's up, Bo?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Yeah, I can get you a
I'll do a
football
football.
jersey too. Big
I want to
Bo,
get one.
what's
I used to
up?
have a little Jets one that was like a crop one. It looked very, very gay, like a mesh crop one. Jets.
Hey, Bo, what do you think? It finally came in. Look, check it out.
Oh, look at it, Bo.
The Bo.
Yeah, they're actually better than what you subscribed or
Yeah,
what
it's
you
not
talked
bad,
about.
right? It looked
Yeah,
pretty
that's
good.
good.
Do what we're doing, Bo. We're trying to imagine how good it would look if he had arms and shoulders.
Yeah, well, it was an actual bodybuilder.
How good? Now imagine Bo wearing that would look fantastic.
Unbelievable.
I
These are
like
my-
it though.
You're like that store mannequin, the bald mannequin just at the store.
These are my friends. Sweet Jesus.
Apart from the guy wearing it, it looks great. I like it.
And of course, I have the sleeveless hoodie. That one I wore on Monday. People could buy that one. And
I never understood sleeveless hoodies because it's like they keep you warm, but yet your arms are cold.
Yeah,
You look like a dick. You look like a dick trying to come out of the foreskin.
Yeah,
It's like you get the
Look. He looks like a dick without it. Look,
Yeah.
a dick without it. Just put a little dot on his head.
you guys are fucked up, man.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Look, there's the pee hole. I hope when you get older, you don't get a double chin like I'm getting, because then you look like your balls hanging here and your fucking dick.
I'm not that fucking younger than you, man. I'm 49.
Oh,
I know.
Shit, I'm gonna be 53 this year.
I know I'm still sexy. Don't get me wrong, but
Oh yeah.
So I'm just gonna say it one more time.
Sexy for my shirt.
If anybody wants a T-shirt, I will send a T-shirt for free. Okay, and I think everybody got a T-shirt. And but if you want the jersey, email me Uncle John 1201 or John_Olivia at Yahoo, Uncle John 1201 at Gmail, or hit me up on Instagram. Serious and silliness. The jersey will be $100. If you want the sleeveless hoodie, that will be $50. But a T-shirt is free. Now, let's get on to some.
Before you go on, you just gave out your email addresses. I want everyone to send him nothing but dick pics to that email address. Spam him.
Yeah. I want somebody to send me a transitional period from going from guy to girl. Like it's not exactly done yet. Like maybe the balls are gone, but his dick is still there. Something like that. You know?
Well, just look at a female bodybuilder. I've been there. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
All right, let's move on to some bodybuilding topics. Nick Walker looks like his package is coming together.
Yeah.
Yes,
I don't know if you saw the latest updates, but he looks like his shit's coming together. Let's check it out. He's starting to look like the old Nick Walker. Let's see. I know he has right from there. This most muscular is damn impressive.
Hang on, I got to flip this way to see. There we go.
Okay, and see his side shots are just unbelievable because of that density.
You can't beat that overhead lighting either. That's like, even as shitty as I look, you've ever been into a hotel room, we get that overhead lighting and it makes you look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he generally doesn't post pictures to make himself look good. Generally, he posts pictures just progress pictures.
Yeah,
and then from the back, his back is really coming together.
I think he's going to push Derek.
I think this is going to be a really tough 1, 2, and 3. I think this is going to be probably maybe even a better 1, 2, and 3 than the Olympia. Definitely better than the Arnold. But because the 1, 2, and 3 was at the Olympia had Derek, Hottie, and Samson. This might be a better 1, 2, and 3 than the Olympia if everybody's spot on. If everybody's Derek's going to be on. He ain't making that same mistake at the Olympia. And then Martin, and don't forget Crizzo. Crizzo's looking crazy too. He's looking crazy.
Well, it makes it exciting too. Imagine if he was to beat Derek and you can't get to the Olympia now, going to the days of the dynasties of Ronnie or Phil Heath or whoever. If he beats Derek, now you got Derek, him, Hardy, Sampson, or who could possibly win the Olympia.
Yeah. And this is Crizzo, obviously with a funny face, but that most muscular looks insane. I really hope this transitions to the stage. If this transitions to the stage, this is going to be something. This is going to be.
I'm gonna tell you, but if you look at him though, he look flat because he looks small.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get it, right? He's a week out, week and a half. What is it? This weekend?
Yeah, he might be all right on stage.
Yeah, exactly. Once he starts carbing up and whatnot, and he's got what Farah with him. So
I'm looking at him, then I'm looking at you.
Yeah,
I can use this picture
and put
to make us money. To make us money.
How are we gonna make money? I'm all for making money. What do I got to do?
That's you, right? And then you contracted some muscle wasting disease, and I got to go start a GoFundMe so I can cure you. Maybe I'll get John Cena from Make-A-Wish to come visit you. Hey, you almost look alike. Now this muscle wasting, whatever it is that you got, we got to save John. People, send into the GoFundMe page, please.
Let me go and get that together right now.
Yeah, start on that, Bo. Start on it. We're going to make money.
I am definitely clipping that. That will be on Instagram by tomorrow. 100%.
Save John.
Oh, shit. Oh God. All right. What happened here? Where am I? Okay. All right. And oh yeah. Okay.
Oh, Keon's looking good in that shot too. There, Keon's looking good.
Keon looks pretty much like the perfect bodybuilder. I mean, the guy is literally flawless. I think he's guest posing at the Pittsburgh Pro. He's literally flawless. I mean,
imagine if someone like him just jumped in it. Imagine the hype that would have got if he goes, I'm going in the open at the Pittsburgh if he was in shape. My God.
Yeah. I mean, there was literally he's missing nothing. His flow is perfect. His balance is perfect. He has no weaknesses. There is nothing that has to come up. The only thing is if he could put on 10 pounds of muscle and go into the open, I mean, that's your next Mr. Olympia. I mean, honestly.
He come in right at 202.
Yeah, 212, right?
He got plenty of room to grow if he wants.
Oh, yeah. 10 pounds of muscle, dude.
What'd you say, Jay?
I don't think he needs 10 pounds of muscle.
No, he up to about 208, 207, 208, 209, rather, one of them two.
Yeah, you might be right. Even when he turns around, like his adductors from the back are so impressive.
And with those proportions, if he's shredded, the illusion on stage, he's going to look 30 pounds bigger.
Yeah, the extra weight will make him look a little distorted and dumpy, and like
look
everything flows, man. Like that's crisp.
Yeah.
If that there was shredded, he'd look like 250 on stage.
But Lee, that's how you was though, Lee.
The heaviest I got was 218. Generally, I stayed around 206, 208.
Really?
Yeah, and he didn't look like he was 206 on stage. You know, it's
Right. Good point.
Well, when I won to San Francisco, I had people ask me what I weighed, and I said, "What do you think I weighed?" They're like, "Oh, 230 and that."
yeah.
I'm like, I was 199. That's why I always gave it to Chris. I'm like, Chris, what'd you weigh at San Francisco when you got second to me? He's like 260. I'm like, fuck, you got beat by a guy under 200. He's like, fuck you. It's like,
and who else we got here? Okay.
there's quite a few people going there to guest pose, isn't there, or show up?
Yeah, the guest posers are going to be right here.
Martin.
Right here. You got Keon, Ramon Dino, Samson Dowda, and Mike Sommerfeld.
But also just in the crowd, isn't Flex Lewis going and Bumstead? There's going to be
there's going to be a ton of people, at booths and in the crowd and so on and so forth. But these four guys are going to be guest posing, and I really, what I want to see. I mean, I know people are fans of Dino and Sommerfeld, but I want to see Keon stand next to Samson and see what that looks like.
They'll probably do that. They'll probably bring them all out together for like a big pose.
See what that really looks like, because I don't know if Keon is going to do the 212 this year, or he's going to go in the open, or
he's doing 212.
He's going to do 212.
You know who's looking good in his latest pictures too? Terrence. He's looking pretty good.
Yeah, he is actually. But if I'm Keon, I'm saying to myself, especially after this weekend when you stand side by side by Samson, I'm saying to myself, all right, one more year at 212 and that's it. I'm going to jump in with the big boys because
but that's pretty much what happened to Derek. Remember when Derek guest posed? 2 years ago, everyone's like, he's going to do the open, and he went and did the open.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And who else we got? Okay. And then we got Sauce is doing the New York Pro.
Oh, he finna hurt some feelings.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Sauce is doing the New York Pro. I don't know who else is doing the New York Pro.
Who's that other guy from Brazil that got runner-up to Good Vito? He's coming to do it too, isn't he?
Is he? Really?
Yeah. He went. All he needs is conditioning.
Yeah, he's got the size too, like similar to Nick Walker size, but yeah.
Yeah. I believe he would have had condition, he would have knocked Good Vito off.
Yeah, Good Vito is. Let's see if we have anybody else. This 19-year-old kid. Did you see him do his first bodybuilding show?
Look good.
I mean, where are these fucking kids coming from? I mean, what are they feeding them? He's 19.
Just look at me, mate. I was competing at 19. He needs to look at me and go, fuck, I better quit because there's my future there sitting in the car.
yeah, talking to me. Yeah. But here's the thing, though, Lee. Back then, you were an anomaly. There's a lot of kids coming out of the woodwork. There's a lot of young guys.
It's the peptides.
There's a lot of young kids coming out of the woodwork and going, holy shit. Like, it's, from 18 to like, 24, it's like, it's unbelievable, But
I just hope they're not. I just hope, because I did start gear at the end of my 19th year, so from 13 to 19, I didn't take anything. I just hope these guys aren't juicing too hard too soon and destroying themselves. So
yeah, I know that's another thing. If that's the case, it might be a little too hard on their bodies. But all right, and what else do we have? Okay, I wanted to talk about William Bonac for a minute because William Bonac is doing the Pittsburgh Pro, and he looks amazing, and nobody's talking about him. And I have a theory why nobody is talking about him. Here's my theory. I think William Bonac, as great as he looks, I think he's yesterday's news. I think it's like screwing your ex-girlfriend. It's like, all right, she's still hot. She could still fuck, but I'm not really interested anymore. I want to see the new guys coming up.
Yeah, it's almost like the old guard type thing.
And and he's got every chance to be in the top 5. He's got every chance to fucking win. Don't get me wrong, but
I think you could be in the top 3 or 4. I think you could be in the top
there's no question. Yeah, but I just think that he is old news, and people are really looking at these young guys the Martins, the Nicks, the Derricks, the Good Vitos, the Mike Crizzos, and they're just like they want to see these young guys come up. And Bonac has been around for what, competing at this level for what, 10 years at least.
But it's good. It's good to see when the older ones still whip the young ones' asses, like when Dexter kept competing into his 50s, whipping everyone's ass.
Yeah, right. And that's the difference is. Well, no, what's happening to Dexter too. The thing was with Dexter, people wouldn't talk about, but then he'd win, and then he would force you to talk about him. You know, when he won his last Arnold, and when he came in second to Phil. You know, nobody would be talking about him, and then he would literally force you to. But with Bonac, and it's kind of sad because the guy is as good as any of these young guys. But I think that's what's happened. I think people are just like, you know, he's yesterday's news, you know, and he's not interesting to talk about anymore. And these other,
but sadly too, I think the judges think that too, because the judges they get used to seeing you. So they're like, oh, it's William again. Oh, we haven't seen Nick for a while. Or we haven't seen Crizzo and Good Vito up here together. So it's almost like you said, it's like the old model, then the new model comes out. They all get excited for the new iPhone's here. Quick, let's all line up.
Yeah, they could be rooting for him to knock some of them youngers off, though.
Dude, I would not be surprised.
I think he can.
I wouldn't be surprised if he beats Crizzo and he beats Good Vito.
Oh, yeah.
And he beats Nick. That would not surprise me at all. Not at all. The guy's still fucking. What was it? Detroit that he won?
Yep.
I mean, he looked probably the best he's ever looked.
And I think if he would have did that show with with
Sauce
and Andrew.
Yeah.
He would have won.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of sad because, you know, the guy put his time in, he put his work in. He obviously is a hard worker. He obviously takes the sport very seriously. And nobody's talking about him. And it's just, he should be the first name you should talk about.
Right? But he should be up there with Derek and Nick and all them.
Yeah, he should be the first guy you're talking about. Going, Bonac's gonna do this show. Fucking this guy's been around a while and knocking guys off. You guys better beware. But no, nobody's fucking even bringing him up.
Show up and show out.
What do you think, Jay?
I think if he comes in, and I don't know if I agree with that with the old, in with the new concept. I just think that if he comes in and makes a good showing, dude, the judges are going to place him where he deserves. Yeah. You know, you got to remember also, you know, Ronnie was making a run for it for 10 years before he won his Olympia. You know, it's like everybody's like, look, that's Ronnie. It's Ronnie, 7th, 10th, 12th, 15th, whatever. Then boom.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? You know, I mean, obviously Ronnie was a little younger than William now, but dude, he looks great. You know, there's signs of a little bit of a diminishment here, you know, but still holds his own. And if he makes a good showing, he'll get a good call out.
100%. I don't think that judges are going to overlook him because he is a big name and they do know who he is.
Well, he does stand out too. He's got a unique look. He flows good.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And his legs done came back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, that's another thing. Whatever 2 years ago, when people thought it was over, whatever changes he made, you know, and the same thing had happened to Dexter. If you remember, people were counting him out, you know, like it's over, and then boom, he makes some changes. And I think he was even with George Farrow when he made the changes, and won another Arnold Classic and came in second at the Olympia next to Phil.
You should have had a jersey made up with Bonac on the back and sent it to him to wear at the show.
I should do
that. That's an idea.
Yeah, I should. I'm going to give him a call after this. We go, William.
What's up?
What's up, dude? This is going to be a massive lineup. And then the New York Pro is right after this. So I would assume, maybe not Derek, but I would assume a lot of the guys are going to go into the New York Pro right after this.
Is Pittsburgh not this weekend, but next weekend, isn't it?
Pittsburgh, I believe, is. Let me see. Let me see. I have.
So we got 3 weekends of body.
I have the list.
Because New York's the week after Pittsburgh, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Pittsburgh, May 10th to the 11th. Yeah, so it's next
Yeah.
weekend. And then the 17th is the week right after that. And the Cali Pro is the week right after that. So, and the Legion is the week right after that. After this, we got every weekend a show coming up. But
one of those guys should just go bang, bang, bang and do all of them.
yeah, no, why not? You got to be in shape, and they're a week apart. Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
I don't know if Derek is gonna do the New York Pro, because he won the Arnold. He's already, he's qualified for the Olympia forever. I think he wants to do Pittsburgh because it's Pittsburgh and it's the money, and what's his name runs it, Jim Mannion. But then again, you don't know. It's a week out. Who the fuck knows? I wouldn't be surprised if he would do it, but I just have a feeling he's not going to.
Was Nick going to New York or?
I'm pretty sure Nick is going to New York, because he wants that W. He wants that W, and as much as he wants that W in Pittsburgh, I think he's playing it safe. Going, all right, well, if I don't get the W in Pittsburgh, I can get it at New York. What else is happening? Oh, I don't know if you guys saw this. Let me shut this off. Did you see Dan Solomon and what he had to say? He was on an interview.
Said about the black backdrop.
Yeah, he talked about the black backdrop, where he said that he's not going to do the black backdrop. The other thing he said, which is not surprising, he said the IFBB is not paying Kai to go to the match. And it's like, well, no shit. like, I don't know. I don't know where this sense of entitlement comes from Kai. It's either a sense of entitlement or he really just doesn't want to do the show. And it's kind of like the gay guy who's in the closet and he's going after the hot bartender that he knows he can't have just to make believe people, just to convince everybody that he's not gay. I think it's kind of like that. I really don't want to compete, but I'll make it seem as if I want to compete. If they fucking pay me to go there and pay me on top of that, I know they're not going to fucking. I know they're not going to.
Well, I've heard rumors. I'm sure Jason has too. That there's been other shows that have paid some athletes to go there, but they're generally bigger shows. Like it could be an Olympia or the Arnold, if they want someone to be there to get more tickets in. But I don't think. If Kai did the Masters Olympia, more people would watch it. But I don't think they'd get their money back just by having Kai in it.
Yeah. What do you think, Bo?
I wouldn't pay him. He probably had no hopes of him doing the show anyway.
Yeah,
because he knew they weren't gonna pay him.
Yeah, I think
trying to make himself relevant again.
Right, I think that's what it is. I think he likes to stay in the public eye, and this is his way of teasing everybody. But before I give my final, what do you think, Jay?
I think he could draw a crowd.
No question.
I think he could make it interesting, and he's always
especially in Japan.
Dude, he's loved everywhere, and I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe he's just throwing it out there that he would need that motivation to do it. I agree with Dan. I don't see them paying him, except for whatever prize money he could earn, unless he could work some sort of, deal with him out in Japan to bring him in, on the side. But, he might need that motivation and some guaranteed money to do it, but he would definitely sell some tickets.
There's no question. And I wouldn't be surprised if some kind of sponsor pays him to be there at a booth or something like that. Here's the thing, too, and this is what nobody wants to say. He's not going to look like the old Kai. He hasn't competed since 2015. And he's almost 50 years old. His last guest posing, he literally had this makeup on that covered everything because he knew he was out of shape. He had this belly hanging out. He's not going to look like the old Kai. It's not even close. Okay, so we saw it with Kevin Levrone. We saw it with Jay Cutler only a couple of years. Remember he retired. Yeah. Phil beat him, and he came back a couple of years later, and it wasn't the same Jay Cutler. It's just it's not gonna be the same. He's almost 50. Who even knows if he still has his legs left? Well, not that. And not that his legs maybe, but they probably have diminished if he's 50 years old. No, I don't know how hard he still trains. I know he was one of the hardest training guys for his time. I don't know how hard he still trains. I don't. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I think he's trying to stay relevant, and I think this is his way of trying to stay relevant. To put eyes on his Instagram and so. Oh shit! Look at that. There's Superman behind you. Wow.
Hey, look! I
and
I look like Bo. Look.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know that's an image.
From can't beat a good cod piece in there, can you?
Yeah, you know what, Bo? That's a good question. Where do you get your posing trunks from? Like, I used to just order them from a website. You can't just order yours. You gotta have it fucking specially made.
He has a hammock. He takes a hammock out of the yard and converts into a posing suit.
Yeah, that's that.
I get her from it's a lady named Angela. Man, I've been messing with her since 2017 from I Candy Bikini.
Yeah.
She been making my stuff since 2017.
And she does everything custom or whatever.
Yeah, she make everything custom.
So now
I like to be a fly on the wall when she tells people, I make this guy's posing trunks. You won't believe how much material I got to put in the crotch area.
Guarantee on ladies' night when she has a couple in her, at happy hour.
She actually do a good job though. Like from the first time she measured me, she ain't never had to measure me since.
Oh, I thought she
2017.
I thought she would insist on measuring you every single time.
Just checking for shrinkage. Checking for shrinkage over the years.
She's a good woman, man. She helped me out though. She's a good woman.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, because I even remember, and I'm not, I remember ordering them on a website and putting them on, and they were still tight around my package. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
The first ones I ever got, I ordered those. Remember Andreas Carling, Jason? He used to sell posing trunks. Yeah. I used to wear them, but then I went to CJ's after that. She always used to make mine from that point on. But yeah.
CJ made almost every pair of mine my whole career. She just passed away. She was loved, through she made all the pros, dude. She did everybody.
She made my Superman ones. Those Superman ones I had that time when we could wear costumes. She made those and
Look, CJ was that type of woman. She'll call you, hey, you doing what's called? Yep.
Yeah.
And she'll be like, what size you will? So this, okay. And she just sent me like 3 pair.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I used to like them too. I used to like that velvet material, but then you get like the black or like a royal purple. And had that like really little bit of glitter. It wasn't too much, but just enough to give it that glittery look as well. And
he made a pair for me backstage once, like the ones I had. I got some oil on it or something. She was, give me a minute. She flew back there, fixed them up for me, and dude, they were
really.
Yeah, dude, she was great. She was fucking great.
That's a person that really is her craft. That's you don't get too many people like that have a business and will bend over backwards like that. To make their regular customers that happy.
But even the posing trunks, if she wasn't helping out posing trunks backstage, you'd have gloves on, tanning someone, putting oil on someone. She was always doing something. She was just a good
always involved, dude. She was always involved.
Yeah, so she was just a good person then. Oh, all right. Well, that's good. But and you said she passed away?
Yep. She just passed away a month ago, maybe.
Wow, really? How old was she?
Close to 60.
59 or something.
Yeah, close to 60.
That's way too young.
She might have been 60 though.
Maybe.
That's way too young, man. My mother's 90 and she's still kicking. Sweet Jesus.
I can't remember one pro show I was at that CJ wasn't at. I think she was at pretty much every show.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
All the Olympians.
Yeah.
Lee, who was the guy that when you, obviously besides Ronnie and so on and so forth, but who was the guy that when you were getting ready for a show backstage that really impressed you when they started, stripping down and getting ready on stage? Obviously, I know Ronnie would have been blah, 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 but who else?
Probably me when I looked in the mirror. Once I pumped up and took my pump cover off, John. Whoa.
Look out.
No, normally I wouldn't look around because you know what it's like backstage. When you're in that frame of mind, I would have like my training partner with me. I'd be like, fuck, look at him. He looks great. And he'd be like, you look better than him. And I'm like, no, I fucking don't. Look at his arms. And he's like, look at your arms. I said, mine look shit. It's like, you know, in that frame of mind and you're competing, everyone looks better than you backstage, even the shittiest person. Jocelyn Potier probably looked better than me backstage when he used to compete with his watch on at the Night of Champions. So, yeah, but normally I said, once you saw Ronnie walk out, you're just like, oh. I remember my first Olympia, Dorian was number 12 and I'm number 13. I just remember having to walk behind him up the stairs and all I see is these big fucking lats. And then I'm just like,
really? That's fucking. What year was that?
97.
That was the last one, right?
I could have done my first Olympia in 94, but guess what? I got suspended. Go figure.
Oh shit, that sucks. What about you, Jay? Who would you get? Obviously, if you ever saw Ronnie or whatever.
I saw Ronnie. We did the Arnold together one year, and that was quite a fucking scene, dude. But yeah, I saw Lee backstage, and he was always impressive. And
he went that short ass over there. Fuck him.
Well, dude, Flex Wheeler backstage looked fucking nasty, and Chris always looked good. Dexter, dude. Kevin was fucking impressive backstage. And Dennis James, dude. Dennis James was pretty fucking impressive backstage. Like everybody, dude. It was just and you don't want to look. It's like, you don't want to look because it's just gonna fuck you up.
It's like I gotta pump up more. I gotta do a few more push-ups. Fuck.
Yeah, like it's you want to try to have a good sense of self-esteem when you get on stage and you look around, especially when everybody's in shape at that level. It's like, fuck, dude, just everybody at that level.
When you're standing back too, and they're out there doing the call outs, and you've got to watch them pose in front, and then you're like, oh fucking hell! It's like you're looking at their double biceps. You'll see Ronnie and Chris and someone. You're like, oh, don't even bother calling me out. It's like I'll just stand back here.
Did you ever
in my later years in the Olympia, dude? I remember Flex Lewis, dude. He was quite a sight.
What about Kevin English backstage?
So.
Because I was never a huge Kevin English fan.
Yeah, so Kevin was impressive from the point of view because he was just so thick.
Yeah.
But his shape was a little off. So, and I was always a shape guy, so I'm like, all right, here's where that's lacking. But in the open class before the 212, it was like everybody was balanced. Everybody was put together pretty fucking well, dude. Even my first pro show was the Toronto Pro, and I think I took fourth there, but I was with Milos and Pavel and Eddie Robinson, and some big names back then, and my being
it was freaky.
Yeah, and being my first pro show, like it's a little overwhelming, but then you called out in the top 5, and you're like, fuck, dude, all right, I deserve to be here.
Is that before I get to actually? I'll write it down. Kevin English. Bo, what about you? Who was a guy you were backstage and you saw? You're like, holy shit, this guy's fucking impressive.
Probably 2 dudes that made me say that. One of them was George the Bull and Big Ramy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, them 2 right there. Like,
imagine seeing Big Ramy in person backstage.
Man. I seen him the year I'm back there the year he won.
Oh,
wow, really?
I done seen Lou Ferrigno. I done seen all them dudes. Big Ramy is probably the most impressive I done seen out of everybody. Like, yeah.
Well, he was 300 pounds on stage, right?
When I tell you the man doing the flies, me and Brandon on the floor, like right by the cables. Me and Brandon talking, and him and Brandon started talking. The man doing the flash, y'all know, like this man's shirt was doing this.
Jeez,
we were doing the flash. Like you could see his chest, the print. Like his chest was.
Wow.
And I'm looking at him, I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, God. When he stripped down, it ain't a man I seen that's more impressive. I ain't seen him running. But
yeah, right. You were after running.
Him and George the Bull. 2 of the most impressive I've ever seen.
Wow. Yeah, I totally forgot about Big Ramy. I remember when Big Ramy did the New York Pro.
That's when he had a waist then.
Yeah, Guy Del. I was going to Guy's gym, and Guy Del Corso was, working backstage, and he was like, I remember him in the gym saying, "I've never seen anything like that in my life." He goes, "I've seen, Jay Cutler at 300 pounds on his off season, but I've never seen a bodybuilder that huge in my life." And he's up close and personal. So Jay, Lee might know the answer to this too. There was this rumor going around, I believe in the late 90s. I don't know how true this is.
I started it, yeah.
Did you? Okay. All right. I believe Kevin English won the middleweights at the Nationals.
Yeah, there was a year I won.
Okay. Okay.
The year I won the nationals, he won the middleweights.
There was a room. I remember the guys talking about it in the gym in Pump and Iron Gym. Again, I don't know if it's true. But they said that he cramped out. He had massive cramps, and he had to walk off stage. And the rumor was that he relaxed backstage. They did what he had to do, and then they brought him back out and rejudged him, and he got the W. And the rumor was it was because that was Steve Weinberger's boy, trained at the gym, worked at the gym, Stephen Bev's boy. Is that accurate?
Well, I won that nationals. I don't remember that happening.
Okay. All right. So it was just
I don't remember. I don't remember even hearing a story of that happening.
yeah, I remember that story. I don't know. Again, I don't know how true it is.
Were they just implying that once he walked off and got cramped, he shouldn't have been able to come back on and compete again?
Well,
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, like I remember running into him in the bathroom. It was we were all backstage, and dude, like there was 180 guys, there was 180 bodybuilders, and back then it wasn't like it is now. It was the biggest nationals in history at that time, and prejudging had. I don't think we went on until almost midnight. It was in Atlanta. And I didn't know Kevin. I knew he was from New York and I knew who he was, but I remember seeing him in the bathroom and I looked at him like, this fucking guy's a middleweight, dude. I mean, he looked like, and I was a heavyweight,
Yeah.
but I was 203. I was the smallest heavyweight there.
Right.
So, seeing him and dude, like I was standing next to him, he looked like he was fucking my size, and he weighed in at 76. So, I don't remember him cramping or I was waiting to go on stage. So I don't remember that happening.
No, that was a rumor years ago. I don't remember if it was that year, if it was another year. But I do remember the guys in the gym talking about saying if it was
So
anybody
they
else,
said he came off stage?
the rumor was that he got bad cramps. He couldn't finish posing. He came off stage after the cramps passed or whatever. They let him back on stage and continue posing, and he got the W. And the guys were saying if that was anybody else, they would say go home and come back next year. And it was implied that because he was trained at Steve and Bev's gym, and that was Steve, and he worked there too. I think he managed the place. Or something
Yeah.
like that.
But wouldn't it depend on how bad the cramps were? If it's just like some ab cramps or calf cramps, they might quickly try stretch it out. But
Yeah,
if you remember when Dillette,
do that.
yeah,
Dillette used to do it all the time.
but that Arnold, when remember Dillette when he cramped up at the Arnold, Dillette the week before the Arnold at Gold's Gym, he was that freaky. I mean, like his skin was see-through, and God knows, Paul, I can be that little bit better. So he's talking to John Romano. John Romano's like, I'll give you 40 milligrams LASIK injectable. The guy had no more fluid to come out. That's why you remember seeing him on stage. Once he did that rear lat spread, they had to carry him off they carried him off like an ironing board. He locked up. And that was the worst time I ever felt on stage was, Paul and I are good friends. You're trying to compete on stage, standing here at the corner of my eye. He's laying flat out on a table. People are working on him. You're thinking, oh, fucking hell, that's the last thing you want to see. You're thinking, is he fucking dying? What's going on over there? And you're trying to focus on competing, but you see him working on your friend backstage. It was fucking shitty feeling.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. And we see that kind of often. But not as much as you used to. But I remember what's his name almost passing out on stage. Dallas McCarver.
Yeah. In Australia, was that
Um,
Australia? Was it? Was it in
it
Australia that
might have
happened to
been,
him?
yeah, yeah. I think it was I think it was the Arnold or the
Well,
Australian.
Flex went to hospital once from a show from cramping and that pretty bad, I think.
Really.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I remember, I don't know who was next to him, but on stage he was posing, and then he grabbed onto the guy's shoulder, and he almost fell over.
Mm.
And they picked up Dallas, and I remember Guy Sistanino ran out, and he had given him
Yeah.
some water and so on and so forth. And I think Dallas even threw up, if I'm accurate. And then he
Was
passed.
that the same year he passed away? Was
Yeah,
that
I'm pretty
almost the
sure
same year?
he passed away shortly after that, man.
Yeah.
Passed
I
away
seen I
shortly.
seen it backstage at the what it was, the Temple show. One of the 212 guys, Santos, he fell out back there.
Really,
Yeah, dehydrated.
it's it happens far too often, and obviously, tragic deaths happen far too often in this industry. And I don't
I
think
was
it's not
dehydrated this morning. I couldn't go to the gym.
really. What
Yeah.
would you do?
Yesterday I got home early. Then I'm like, oh, had a bottle of gin there. So I'm like, I just have a shot every time I go into the kitchen. I'm playing a game with myself. I'll have a shot when I go. By the time I went to bed, 3/4 of the bottle of gin was gone.
Yeah, I'd say you were dehydrated.
So I woke up this morning and my fucking temples are like this. I'm like, oh, if I had to drive my wife to work, I'm thinking if I get pulled over, I'm going to be blowing over the limit still. And I said, I got to go home. I can't go to the gym. It's like, I don't know how people can drink that much. I don't know how I drank that
I
much,
don't know.
considering I don't drink.
I
So
don't
don't
know
play
how.
games with yourself. How many times you go in the kitchen, have a shot.
I had friends when I was an electrician for the short period of time that I worked on Wall Street right after I finished college. There were guys that would just go out right after work,
Yeah,
drink, and just get
yeah.
ossified, and then come right back to work. There was this guy.
Oof.
There was this guy Eddie. I was an electrician. He was working. He was a good electrician too. He was really a good electrician. And as soon as work was over, Heineken all night long.
Yeah.
Heineken all night long, and then he would wake up and go to work the next day like nothing
I'm
happened.
thinking I think I had like alcohol poisoning. I'm sitting there like even 8 o'clock, I'm at home laying on the couch and my fucking hands are trembling like this. I think, fuck, I've got the DTs like an alcoholic.
See, what y'all don't know, y'all ain't doing it right. Y'all got to watch them old Chinese or Japanese movie. After them boys get through drinking, they go get in the sauna. They
Sweat
pulling
it
it
out.
right back. They pulling it back up out of them.
Yeah,
That's why you don't have that headache or can't go to the gym.
there was one of my supervisors at the job I have now. The guy died, right? But he was a bad drunk, man. I mean, he was this Irish guy from the Bronx.
Irish, say no more.
And
Say no
yeah,
more drinking.
and it was Budweiser constantly. And as a matter of fact, if he wasn't drunk, he was a miserable prick, and you could tell when he was sober because he was a nasty bastard when he was sober, right? But and he would just so one day we have a lot of chemical deliveries that come into the plant because we need these chemicals to purify the water. And they all have to be separated. So a truck will come in, and there'll be all different chemicals. Like one might be hypo, another one might be caustic, and there's all different ones. And then you have to put it in the right tank, and then as the plant needs it, you take it from the tank. So it's in the middle of the night. He's working the night shift. He gets a delivery, and the truck comes with the chemical, and he's having a problem attaching the hose to the tank from the truck to the tank, and he has to go get a like some kind of reducer so that it would attach, you know. So he finally does it and gets the reducer and he attaches it, and all of a sudden this smoke and steam starts filling up the entire fucking plant. And the plant is the plant that I work at is 2 miles around, 2 miles, and it's huge, okay? And turns out that the reason why the hose didn't fit onto the tank is because it was the wrong chemical tank, and he had put the wrong chemicals in a tank with another chemical, and it had this reaction where it just fucking. Dude, the fire department was there, the cops, there was helicopters, the paramedics, fucking everybody. One guy went to the hospital, didn't come back for because he was in the middle of it. Didn't come back for like a month or two, and he was one. And I remember one of the I think one.
Bo, take notes. Take notes. John was there. This is what caused the muscle wasting for the
Yeah.
GoFundMe. Take
Yeah.
notes. Take notes of his
You
story.
gotta, yeah. And
Take
you
notes.
we gotta
The
put it-
chemical spill caused the muscle wasting. Now
Yeah.
up the GoFundMe.
Yeah. And I think
We're
one
going
of
to
the
use
guys,
Chrizzo's picture and you.
I think one of the guys' complaints when he left and after he went to the hospital for weeks after that was that he couldn't get it up and he blamed it on the chemical spill.
That'll do it.
Your treatment plant and those chemicals, is it one of those plants that puts the chemicals in the water to turn the water back into drinking water from the sewage?
No, yeah, they don't. The water that goes into the sewage doesn't. You don't drink it. Yeah, even though they
But
purify it.
how pure is the water if it has all these chemicals in it?
From what happened, from what I understand, it.
Kind of like an
I'm
oxymoron, right?
against putting chemicals into my body. Okay, this is a temple.
we don't drink that water. That's a different system, right? Yeah, that's water is a completely
What
different
water?
system.
What water do we drink when they say they do the water and put it back out there? Is that like just bath water and shit? Is it? Or what?
I don't know. I don't work at that plant, but I work at the sewage plant, and I could tell you.
Can you look
that-
into it for me?
Yeah, I'll find out. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'll Google it right after this. But what is the sewage plant? What happens is you're not drinking that water, but supposedly the water gets pumped back into the Hudson after it's pure, and by the time that it is pumped back into the Hudson, it's between 85 and 90% pure. And then actually,
With all the chemicals, with all those chemicals in it.
yeah, it's 85 to 90% pure, and supposedly, because the Hudson is so huge, it disperses into the Hudson, and like basically nature kind of just continues to purify it. And then the other thing that happens with the shit that comes into the plant, it's the DEP is the only city agency that actually makes money because they sell the shit
Fertilizer.
and for fertilizer, yes. And a huge boat comes every day, sometimes twice a day, and you fucking pump the shit into the boat. They call it sludge, but it's really it's a combination of shit and dead bugs because that's part of the process. And then they literally sell it. And
Do you
and
find
turn it
any
into
jewelry?
fertilizer.
Like if someone swallowed jewelry and didn't know and they shit it out, do you find
No,
stuff?
we found a lot of like people don't carry as much money as they used to, but we found there used to be a lot more like singles or $5 bills that would come through the sewer. But since people don't really carry cash as much anymore, you don't really see that too much anymore. You see a lot of dead rats that come through, they're just dead. And
Do
then
they do drug testing at your sewer place? Because
Yeah.
not drug testing. I mean, like because here in Australia,
random drug test.
they test the water. So I mean, like not the people that work there. I mean the water. Because here in Australia, they'd be like,
Yeah, that's part of my
like
job.
there's like a Sydney suburb, and they'll be like, in the suburb of Parramatta, there's more cocaine usage and this sort of stuff. And over here, they're using more ice. They can tell by the water what chemicals are in the sewerage. The most users of drugs in different neighborhoods.
Yeah. I don't know about that. That might be when it's shipped to the lab, but we have to take samples on every station to make sure that the process is going right. So there's 4 different stations that the sewage water goes through. We have to take samples to make sure the process is going right. And then if one of the samples is fucked, that means something's wrong.
I got another question. When you're at work and you take a shit, do you see your shit going through the plant?
I actually asked that question.
That's mine. That's mine.
I actually asked that question when I was taking a shit when I first got there. I was I was in the locker room taking a shit, and then
See, Bo, it's not a silly question.
no, it's not. And then there was a guy that worked there for a while that was next to me taking a shit, and his name is Aubrey, and I was like, Aubrey, when we take a shit, does it go back out into the sewer and come back, or does it just go right downstairs? He goes, no, it goes right downstairs. I went, oh.
Well, there you go. You could have said, well, next time there's no point coming upstairs. I'll just shit downstairs.
Well, that's happened to me. The plant is so huge, and then I swear to God, and then you can go as far as 50 feet below sea level because it's down deep, right? Right. So, and there are tanks there, and that's a spot where you have to take fucking samples and test these samples. So you're all the way down there. So I'm walking down there because it's time to take the sample and whatnot. I'm walking down there. My stomach is killing me. I'm like, fuck. I was like, I'll be fine. You know what I mean? So I go down there and I'm taking the fucking samples. It's a big stick with a bottle at the end. And I take them. My stomach's killing me. I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking make it. And there is no bathroom, nowhere to be found. Okay, I'd have to walk back upstairs to below above sea level, go to the goddamn. They have like a laboratory, and that's the closest bathroom. I wasn't gonna make it. Bro, I said, fuck it. I just shit right into the fucking into one of the tanks.
You should have shit into the sample bottle. Then they could have told you later if you got prostate cancer or not.
We found a little bit of D-ball.
Yeah.
I did a sus 250.
I did that not long ago. I don't have prostate cancer, by the way. I did. They did send me that fucking.
Take
thing.
that off. Take that off the GoFundMe. No prostate cancer. No prostate.
But yeah, man, I just shit right into the tank because I couldn't hold it, and then I had the only thing I had was those brown.
I was gonna say, what'd you wipe with?
Brown, they had those brown like lunchroom fucking hard paper towels. And that's all I fucking had, and I just wiped my ass right there, and I.
You did better off just using your hand.
Well, that happened to me.
And then put your hand in the water to wash it.
Yeah. That happened to me in the gym. That happened to me in the gym once. I took a shit in the gym, and there was no toilet paper.
Oh,
I used that finger.
Yeah.
So primitive.
I've done that. You try put your pants on gently and walk into the next store without getting any shit on your pants. Hopefully there's toilet paper in the next one.
I actually there was no shit. There was no fucking toilet paper, and I just did it with my hand, and I grabbed the water from the toilet, washed it with my hand, right, and then I finally got out of there. I didn't have any shit in my asshole. But I washed my hands like 10 times, and then the whole time I was in the gym, I kept going like this to see if I could smell the shit. And then
that sounds like a couple of weeks ago. I was in town with my mate a couple of weeks ago. He disappeared. I don't know where he went, but then I went to the toilet. Like there's these public toilets, and I go in. I come back. I'm like, fucking hell, you're not going to believe it. Just went into the toilet. There's shit all over the seat. There's a fucking sock in there clogged up, and my mate and them start laughing. I'm like, what's so funny? And he's like, that was me. There was no toilet paper, so I had to use my sock. I'm like, you dirty fucking pig. I said, how'd the shit get on the seat? And then he goes, well, some got on the seat, and I went to wipe it with the sock, and it just smeared. So I'm just like, Jesus, fucking Christ.
I told Ons this story. I went out one time with my wife, and I remember exactly what I ate. And I had a cheeseburger, French fries, and I think 2 or 3 chocolate martinis.
Yeah, we don't need to do.
Yeah. And the next day, I just couldn't make it to the fucking bathroom. And I'm dropping my pants, and as I drop my pants, I fucking shit, and I thought I made it. I thought I fucking made it. And then I wipe my ass, I turn around, and there's shit on the back of the bowl. And then I touched my back, and I'm like, oh, fuck. Fucking shit on my back. So I jump into the shower, and I clean the toilet as good as I can. And I told my wife, I was like, I shit all over the bathroom. And
invalid. I'm an invalid already.
And then she gets in there, she puts on the fucking hard hat with the light and the air thing. She got a pickaxe. She sends a canary in there first to see if it dies. She cleaned the whole shit up. She cleaned it. As a matter of fact, I took a picture and sent it to Ons. I was like, see, my wife is cleaning it.
I remember when Paul Dillette was living.
That's why he don't want you to tell it, because he said the picture.
When Paul Dillette was living with me, he'd be like lazy. If you ever made a mess, you wouldn't clean up. Some mornings I'd come do cardio. I'd be like, oh, what's that on the carpet? I go, Paul, what's that? He goes, oh, that's right. I spilt some barbecue sauce. I'm like, well, thanks for picking it up. I just walked in it. Oh. Another time he had a girl visiting. He was laying on the bed, and I walked past. I'm like, what the fuck? I go back. He's sound asleep, snoring. She's got a bucket of water shaving him while he's sleeping.
Jesus.
And then he got sick, and he fucking threw up. I mean, like, because he had his own bathroom, threw up everywhere. And I'm like, what's that smell? I'm like, oh, that stinks. Oh, yeah, I threw up. He goes, what's her name's coming over soon? She's going to clean it up. I'm like, you're not going to clean up? She's like, no, she'll come over and clean it up. I'm like, fucking hell, Paul.
Jesus Christ.
And you vomited everywhere, all over the fucking toilet.
You think Jay Cutler talks about this on Cutler Cast?
Ah,
No, you don't think so. You don't think. You don't think. You don't think.
that's too highbrow. That's too highbrow.
You don't
for
think
us.
Nick Strength and Power talks about him shitting and shitting all
I
over the
don't even
bathroom?
watch Nick anymore. Do people still watch Nick Strength?
Oh
He's like the
yeah,
main one
Still
people used to
fucking-
watch. I don't really watch
Yeah.
that anymore.
Think Dennis James talks about fucking shit like this when
No.
I think we're the only.
We're keeping
I
it.
think we're
We're
the
keeping it
only
real.
bodybuilding
We're keeping
podcast.
it real.
This
Yeah.
uncut.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much for dealing with me and my nonsense and my shit stories. But at least we got some bodybuilding stories in there too. See, we
Hey.
get bodybuilding stories.
Let me ask you something before you close out.
Yeah.
y'all seen Thick Nick? He actually looking all right right now.
Who?
What's his name? Rubiel Masquee. Thick Nick, the dude with the big old neck.
Oh, Ruby. Oh, yeah.
Zilla.
Yeah. Next
I
Zilla,
haven't,
yeah.
I haven't seen him. Why? He actually looks good.
He actually looking all right. They
Let me
say
see.
he talking about doing a show, but you know how that is again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
totally.
Oh, yeah. Before you
I'll-
go, John, have you watched Havoc yet on Netflix? Havoc with
No,
Tom
I
Hardy.
fucking didn't see it yet. Everybody's talking about it. I got
It's a good action show. Lots of good shooting and
Which one was the most recent one, Bo?
I don't know.
Because
It ain't now one of those.
because he.
But you know what I did watch? You know what I did watch yesterday too? Sorry to cut you off.
That's all right.
Accountant 2. Accountant
Yeah.
2.
That's it.
How was that?
Good.
4 days ago.
Yeah, this was 4 days ago. He does look good, but he looks impressive on Instagram. You know what I mean? He just, for some reason, I don't know what it is when he can't.
Imagine him in one of your jerseys.
Oh man, he would look fucking awesome in one of those jerseys.
Imagine.
Nextzilla, send me $100 and you can get yourself a new jersey. There are some things I can't let go for free. Let me get
Sometimes you got to, just for the advertising aspect, you got to bite the bullet sometimes.
Yeah, I know. That's why I send free T-shirts out. All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys coming on, and I will see you guys next week.
Peace.
Later, fellas. Peace.
See you.